Call the meeting to order. We need to excuse Chip. He's picking up his boy from the airport tonight, so he's definitely not gonna be here tonight. Ryan may be here in a little bit, but he's got his program. Everything's busy this time of year, as everybody knows. Okay, we're gonna do a work meeting here tonight, so we're dealing with the web application. Is there any open comment from the public before we start? Is everybody here? You're just here for this, right? Or if you got anything to say? Everybody good? Okay. We'll move right into item 2, property discussion. Okay, you guys gave us a new packet. Do you guys have any questions for the applicant? How do you want to run this? It's a work meeting.
This is my first work meeting, so maybe
Oh,
John.
pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Try not to have too many of these.
No. Especially right before Christmas, right?
Okay, so John wasn't here last time. Do you guys want to update him?
So I missed all the fun, it sounds like.
Did he get a packet? Did you get a packet?
I don't think you left a packet for him either. I grabbed his packet from the meeting.
Here's an extra copy.
But all the papers I grabbed for him didn't have this packet, the latest packet in it.
Oh.
This is the updated one.
Oh, thank you. Let's see, we got the stuff we're doing tonight? Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
That's
that's
the
it.
only thing on the agenda.
Oh,
When
okay.
we get done with this, we'll adjourn.
We can go home? Oh, you did say that.
No, there's another meeting.
You did say that, huh? Okay.
Okay, so that packet has some updated letters and maps that the planning commission didn't receive in the first packet.
I think it was just a
It was
annuity or.
additional trust deeds,
Yeah,
just dating back to like
The warranty
1933,
deeds, yeah.
warranty deeds.
Okay. So are you aware of what they're attempting to have the council do?
I kind of got him up to speed a little bit.
Yeah, so you got about somewhere between a 25 to 30 foot,
32-foot driveway.
32 foot driveway. And from what I understand from our past meetings, when we've had something like this, is if they could put a secondary road back in there, then that gave them frontage.
It's not a secondary road, it's a private driveway.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Because in the past, there was something, well, there was a little more of a driveway there, but they were able to put in a secondary road to get the back 20 acres, and you could put in up to 3 houses. Nobody could sell you some property from one side or the other to get a 60 foot or
Okay,
anything?
here's my question. Why would we need that if we're going to sell it for one person to build one house and a barn, and that be a private driveway? Why would we have to have more frontage?
Because what is it, 150 foot?
It's 100.
Oh, 100 foot
But
of
that,
road frontage.
that property and that driveway's been there for years. We've got warranty deeds in that packet you've got back to 1904. So our question is, why can that not be grandfathered in as a non-conforming lot?
I don't know.
So we got two issues. They want a non-conforming lot, and then they want to have it a buildable lot. So even if it was a non-conforming lot, it would still have to have the frontage. So those two items have to be covered in any decision that we make. Otherwise,
Either,
even if it's a lot, they come for a building permit, I wouldn't issue a building permit because there's no frontage. Every building lot has to have that frontage of 100 feet.
either it's gotta come in from Daniels Road or from 3,000, from what I see. and you've already talked to the people on either side of that driveway to sell you a piece or.
Okay, then Eric, explain something to me.
Okay,
On that lane up there past where the old church was that goes across there, is only how wide, Steve?
What?
That lane up there with the old church? Where the
20,
old,
23 feet from fence to fence.
and you've got, how many houses on that lane?
And Little
And you
Sweet,
can't even pass a car on that
and
lane.
Little Sweden Road is 26 feet from the ditch to the fence.
yeah,
And this land's been there longer than that has.
I agree.
Yeah.
But that was
so-
under the county. That wasn't under the town. That was all those houses were built under the county.
None of those houses have been built since 2006
None of them since the town's been here. None of those,
on Little Sweden Road?
no, on that 600 East, isn't that what
Well,
you're
what
talking
about Little
about?
Sweden Road?
I don't know about Little Sweden Road. There has been some houses
Yeah.
over there. So you're saying Little Sweden Road's not 50 feet wide?
No, it's not.
I think the right of way is 50 feet wide on Little Sweden Road.
27
Well, if you
feet
count
wide.
the ditch.
Well, yeah, I'm
You
talking
do-
about the right of way. That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
but you can't drive the ditch, Eric.
Well, you don't build a road 50 feet wide. The only 50-foot wide road is Main Street. The right-of-way has to be 50 feet wide to build a road. That's what the right-of-way is. The road only has to be 20, what is our minimum road? 24 feet pavement width. So that's the minimum road standard that we have. And I gave you a copy of that, the road standards. So that is the minimum width on figure 1. It gets bigger with higher density, but the right-of-way is what we're talking about. So the right-of-way has to be 50-foot right-of-way.
I understand that if you're gonna put 3 houses, but for one house, it'd be a private lane.
Well, see, now
The
you're
animals
talking,
won't have to take care of it, they're it's saving, it's making it more rural. And if you put 3 houses there,
but you're talking two different things. You're talking a right-of-way, and now you're talking about a house. Now we're talking about frontage for a lot. Yes, you have to have 100 feet of frontage,
So
not a
when you have
50-foot
100 foot of
right-of-way.
frontage, once you got back that lane, there's over 100 foot back in there on that
If
field.
there was 50 foot going back 100 feet and you built this road to the town standards, you would have 100 feet of frontage. That's true.
Is there any possibility that any neighbor on either side would grant an easement? Is there any of the other lots that that you could purchase or buy, anywhere from Daniels or from 3,000?
I don't think there is on Daniels.
no.
Well, and I understand what you're trying to do here, I absolutely do. It's just,
Yeah.
it's not up to our code, which we adopted from the county in 2006. There was 200 feet of frontage when we adopted it from the county, we shrunk it to 100 feet. So you should have had 200 feet. In the county, you need 200 feet of frontage.
So how come when I went over to the county, they told me if it was up to them, they would write us a letter record right there?
I don't know. I don't know why you got that letter that stated that. I don't. I'm pretty amazed you got it, but.
Well, I had 3 of them in there tell me the same thing.
Yeah,
Ask you a question.
sure.
What is the reasoning for the 100 foot? I'm really dumb about this stuff, but why do they want 100 foot?
That's probably a whole different meeting that was public hearing when we took that from 200 foot down to 100 foot. The reasons probably came up in there, but that's just what the code says. Now, if they want to go and try and change the code, they can certainly try and do that. But as planning, I can only do what the code says. So I'm stuck with whatever the
Basically, you don't
code
know,
is.
it's just it says 100 feet.
I don't, and I assume that it was for probably the flag lot standards. They didn't want a bunch of flag lots.
Didn't want roads coming in now.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility they could put in for a change and have a town meeting and all that, go through that to
Anything's
get
possible.
the, change the code?
That's how we got this road standard, is we had an applicant come in
So,
and went through
If
it.
there's no possibility of getting an easement on either side of that driveway, and there's no possibility of getting a 60-foot easement or 50-foot on one of those other lots or on the Daniels Road side, then that would be, man, that sucks, I'm sorry. But that'd be about the only avenue I could see to do that. And you may find other people in town that may want to also be able to do that. So I don't know what, you know, the code's a code, but if we change the code, then we've got something to work from.
How do you change a code?
It goes through the public hearing. So we held a, change the code, we rewrite it, then we hold a public hearing. And it goes through the hearing process at the planning commission. That's where it starts, then it moves to the council.
Who writes the change, who, I don't know.
Anybody can write the change. Yeah, anybody can write the change. It's not,
So it was 200, now it's down to 100, so they need to, and how many feet did you have?
32.
So maybe they just need to say, you know, a 32-foot easement and let you pass it, huh? So that they can do it.
if it goes through the public hearing and that's what the public wants, and that's how that's how they get changed.
So when do you have public hearings?
We schedule those.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we
Okay.
schedule them as they're needed, so
Okay.
there's 14-day notice we have to send into the state, so it's, how long do you think it took for the road? When we changed it? It went through planning, we held a joint public hearing. With the
It took us
council.
close to a year, don't
I think it took 6 months or so,
it? 6 months.
because we're required by state law to do the notices
So-
and everything.
And you couldn't trade your neighbors to the west of you?
We tried.
Okay.
I imagine that they've tried all.
We tried that before anything else.
And they won't do it.
Can you offer them a variance of some sort? What's the conditional use, or
Well,
how does that work?
if it starts to open up a can of worms, I think if we might be better off to,
Trying to change
Change
the
the
code
code.
and set precedents and, yeah.
instead of doing it this way, then, but then you'd have it.
So when was I got a question for you. When was the, as I read through these, I had a hard time coming up with, when was the easement granted? When was that, your access to the property? Because your original one you give us to start with doesn't
I don't
show
know. Do
an
you know?
access to the property.
You know when that easement, him and Grant traded, right? Him and Grant Casper traded property. Probably, I would guess, 70s?
Because it doesn't show up on the description until, I don't know when it showed up, because it jumps around a little bit. All of a sudden, there was 2 parcels, and it jumps back to, it's all included in one. And I don't know how that happened, but.
That happened when, the reason it jumped back to 2 was when whoever that guy was came and asked Dad to sign that property change thing, remember?
Summit,
Engineering?
Had him sign a what?
Fence
It was
agreement.
a fence
Boundary line
agreement.
agreement.
And for
Oh,
some
boundary
reason
line.
after
I
that, it
didn't
jumped back
see
to 2 parcels, and one became 10.05, and the other became
4.95.
4.95.
Was he on your side of the fence with the agreement? Why would it
I
change?
didn't see it, I don't know.
That's weird it would change your parcel.
Yeah, it was weird, because it was 15 acres,
Yeah.
10 and 5, and after that it became 10.05 and 4.95.
That's what I couldn't get through these
Yeah,
things. I'm trying
it
to
was
follow
just
that. I'm
crazy.
like, what in the world? Yeah, and so it shows up as a second parcel, and I'm not even sure when it does that. Looks like in 66. 66 is when I see that, is that
I
correct?
think that's correct, yes.
So then further back, all of a sudden it's included in the parcel, which is way back. I don't know when Grant did his,
Grandma could tell us. We want to talk to her.
maybe. He had a stroke a little while ago.
Oh, did he?
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't bad because they brought him home that night. I remember.
They said the only good one's the one that takes you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him a week ago. He says it slowed him down. Well, he's got a cane now. But hey.
94?
Yeah. Yeah, it slowed him down. So as I follow that, I know that gets set back in 77. Is that right?
That probably is. That's about when Mom and Dad bought it.
Is there any houses over in there?
That's
No, it's,
Legos?
Anywhere
Legos?
in there?
Nine Boys or Nine Ruth?
Yeah.
1900, it don't matter what. Even over in Ellis's. I was telling me there's a lot, there was, and a wagon went down there, you can get it.
So it looks like it goes to Langlos?
Hmm? But I know you gotta prove it in the house or something.
Somebody used to know.
How would you
They
prove
just, they used it to get on the
Oh.
property. They used to get the property.
Like by Horton Packard?
Yeah, Ellis's.
There was three different ways it was property out of our place. Warren Thompson bought it down, and they took our big half our big county police. Because a wagon that went through there 100 years ago, before the homestead.
So that's way before, huh? Because I haven't even seen, when did the web name
Someone's
come
called
on?
Paul, so he-
If anybody did that,
1983?
write it down.
1983, yeah.
I'll look it up on the phone. That was in Michigan County.
So in 1983, that's when I
Yeah, we
see
built that.
your dad and mom's on this thing is 1983.
They bought it in 77.
Okay, I have, okay, yeah, there's one.
Oh.
It goes from Robert Harris to Webb's in 77.
Yeah, that's a good idea, huh? The United States of America.
Eric, this warranty deed right here, that's one, you have that one, that's the everything,
And what,
right, to the webs.
the Harrises? The Harrises, just prior to that. So I got Ruth. Okay, so that's, oh, okay, down here on the bottom is the Harris.
77.
Yep. Yep, 77. And that is that when it disappears?
What, the easement?
Well, let's see, but then I get another one.
Where's it talking about easement?
Is that one you had, is that a 209 on that warranty deed?
It's a 208. 209 is 2 pages. 208 is what I'm looking at.
Okay, so then I get one at 209.
Okay.
That's the same day, isn't it?
Grant has.
June 8th of 19, yep.
So I have certificate number 208 and 209 on the same day?
208 and
This is
209.
stop it.
This is to a warranty deed from Robert Harris.
Lizzie Harris.
Robert Harris, 2 Plain and Juanita, and this was dated 1977,
Okay.
June 1977.
In my packet, it's 2 pages back. I have a 209, it looks like it's on the same day. I don't,
Two pages,
Oh, 209,
204.
right.
Oh,
So Robert Washington Harris, and this is dated the same day.
Okay. But how many acres is each of them?
Tell him you got a case of
Where is it?
Is it showing the one parcel? 209 showing both parcels, correct?
yes, 209 shows the both parcels.
But it doesn't, it doesn't worry about acreage.
208 is just the big parcel, right?
I didn't bring my,
Yeah, that changed the road. I was driving, only had one house on that road.
25 Ross West and
So I was
48
driving
Ross South, 16
Yes,
Ross
that would be
But I think,
At Baldwin.
yeah,
Oh, right, but that's not
Those are
no,
different
it'd have to
legals.
be another, well.
Different
somebody
legal?
has to be
Yeah,
sure
because
someone had to
the one
buy
on
one of those houses,
209, the
those
first
lots
description
in front.
says
Then they have
25
it.
rods west and
And
16
then they
rods
have-
south.
then they have,
And on 208, it says 25 rods
But
west
if they
and
went in
48
and put
rods
a,
south. So
change
those are
the
different,
code
those are different
to
legals.
a
So a
private
different parcel?
driveway.
I don't
But
know,
if you have a
but I
private
would assume,
driveway,
because
there's only one
they're
house.
written differently.
Put it
did
in
they
one
buy,
house.
did mom and dad buy more than one piece from?
That,
From the Harrises,
I thought it was all one piece.
because it would be, it would
if
have
we do
been
something
possibly 3
now,
parcels.
yeah, we're
Right.
setting a precedence,
Right?
precedence.
Oh, yeah, that was long
Then
before.
we're,
I agree.
Oh,
That was 3 acres, wasn't
or if we
This-
put in there
this
for
could be
private
that-
driveway,
This could be
one
that,
house.
that weird acreage.
it? The one we put
If they ever buy
on.
the house and tear the house down.
Maybe
Yeah,
one,
Rather
two,
than rewriting
three.
code, can you do it?
Charlie Sheldon's.
The,
I
it's the
don't
one
want
home.
to, you
Yeah.
still have to have
Oh, it
Yeah, you
wasn't
have
from
to have a
Harris?
public hearing,
Yeah, that's
schedule
what
that.
Charlie Sheldon.
I mean,
Bought the
So
house.
what's
an
the
engineer
procedure? Would be an
pinpointed in
application?
this description, but that's
So
the
start
way
with an
I still know.
application.
16 rods to the west.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that's the route that you're gonna have to
Weird, as
go.
I go through here, I'm just like, where did this go? Where did it come from? And then the one that was 83 has 3 parcels. The one right after that, 180-017.
Well, maybe that's the lane. Is that the driveway?
What number was that again, Eric?
It's 130-017,
Okay.
1983. Then all of a sudden, there's 3 parcels it shows on that warranty deed.
I'd say that's probably the lane.
Easement. Yeah. For Harris has had an easement. Yeah.
I don't know why they written that parcel right there, that parcel.
So Eric, that's the lane, is that third paragraph of the lane? Is that
What's
what
that?
we- Is that third paragraph of the lane, is that what we're reading?
Well, that's what I read it for, is the last one would be the lane.
The last one on.
Well, they had that lane before them.
130-017.
I'm wondering for one house, why?
They had that lane before 80.
Well, they would have had to go to access when they bought it.
Why did that?
They would have had to have farming access when they bought it in 77.
There was the train.
All that lane's there, going back there picking rock.
They would have had to have had that when they sold it, because they wouldn't have bought it.
Just to see it's our seat, but.
I'm there.
Hey.
So whether this is a correction,
So if it is,
legal, I mean, I have no
there's
idea.
the lane,
Big house.
Do you think one of those is a lane,
then where's that?
or you don't think it is?
One of them, it mentions 33 feet in the middle one of 1317. The middle legal description says,
Yeah.
refers to 33 feet.
33 feet.
I mean, I'm far from an engineer, but that's the only one.
33 feet by what, does it say?
It doesn't
It doesn't say, because it just gives it in rods, but I don't know that measurement, but it's 33 feet to the place of the beginning.
So that's
It
probably
makes-
what that is.
I think the middle one would be likely the lane.
I don't know, Paul used that one first. I think he's.
So the Harrises had that.
Call Paul.
16 rods. Which is a road.
What?
264 feet.
Hey, I was gonna call Paul, I wondered if he used to use that, to get into his land. I think there used to be a gate right there. There's a washout.
So as I run through that, that's what I'm getting, I just get conflicting about where this is and why the 3 parcels. So there was a lot line agreement, do we have that one?
What?
If there was a lot line agreement, do we have that warranty deed? Lot line agreement?
I don't think they ever had a warranty deed on it. Him and Grant just what? Grant?
No, I thought you said your dad just signed one for going down the side.
Who said that?
We were talking about.
Oh, one with
Your
Summit
lot
Engineering.
boundaries?
Summit Engineering.
Oh, yeah, he signed a fence agreement, but I don't know where it is.
So this obviously isn't the latest warranty deed, because that was
But a lot line agreement wouldn't necessarily show up as a warranty deed.
But it'd have to be recorded.
Yeah. So this isn't a full chain of title, this is just warranty deeds. So we could see if the title company could supply that. But it would just show up as a boundary line agreement, not a
Wouldn't that
warranty deed.
be at the county?
Yeah.
That'd be the county.
Yeah, they have to record it.
Yeah, they would record it on a full chain of title, but this is just, the title company supplied us with just all of the warranty deeds, not the full chain of title that would show reconveyances and boundary line
Change that,
agreements.
I'm still. At 60. And the width for secondary roads you have in Maine.
Chair.
So I don't know who pinned in on this one, the 130,017, but they pinned in 264 on the 16 rods. I'm assuming that that's footage.
I think that was the guy over at the county, when I took up the county planner. He was writing on it.
Well, this one came directly, I got this directly from the title company, so
Oh,
it
well, then
it may be recorded with that writing on it.
On it.
Mm-hmm. Because I didn't alter it and it came directly from the title company.
Oh, this
So
is
it may be recorded like that.
260. Do you think that's feet?
Um,
Or do you think it's a reference number?
I don't know.
Hard to say, huh?
On the right side, the reference number, obviously that parcel is the big parcel, the 4362 is the 10.05 acres. I don't know what they're referring that to. A rod is 16 and a half feet, but it would take,
I think that one.
So that makes
so
sense.
they've calculated it out.
What is that? So what does that do to that point? Is that, did we decide which one of those is the line?
No,
We still don't know. It looks like we're gonna have to do some work on this. I have to get the surveyor to lay this out on
Yeah,
mine.
that's all feet. That calculates out correctly all those little numbers.
Does it?
Mm-hmm. It's 16, where it says 264 right underneath the word
Yeah.
Wasatch, 16 rods times 16.5 is 264 feet. 25 rods would be 412.50, so they've calculated it out in feet. Those numbers that are penciled in are feet measurements.
So is that 2 rods? or
See, so that really confuses me now, because if you look at those 2 parcels, one is 33, the other one is 18 and a half feet. They're both 16 rods. The upper one is 75 rods, which would be pretty cool with that. It's like a sliver through 18 feet through something. I don't know what. Because it's a different legal description.
Yeah, he used it.
Okay, so what is that?
I don't know, but
Tell
Paul Phelps used that driveway for about a year to get to his land.
In the back. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
There's 264 feet
Right where I
behind
said them
Grant
posts are,
Casper's
the
house,
gate was.
going across the back.
So is there?
He says, all
From-
right, whatever you got.
Yeah, from-
I got
From
County
your
map I
road
have.
Clear through and
Um,
that one, that's the way.
there's
That's
also-
the whole year.
He's going to,
That's
it's
a-
been used to
that's
go
a-
to his house,
That's what?
It's been
it's
used.
used to access property before. So
Well,
they're-
Paul didn't have a road, it was all muddy, and so he used that, and I'd let him use that for about a year. He said, all right,
Go back to his
whatever.
house.
So that would be a
So
road.
that was the
Also,
road.
there's
They've already
264
done it.
feet from 3000 south moving to
Can't
the
remember
south.
what year it was, he says, oh,
Those lots of the Blaine and Juanita's house, running from north to south, is 264 feet deep, and that's what Grant Casper's would have been too. Those lots, Grant's looks like his is square, 264 feet by 264 feet, according to these maps.
This is Grant's house right here.
Right on the corner, by the, yeah.
He's up in the corner.
So his is square, 264?
Well, wait.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah, according to this map, Grant has 200, on this map, Grant has 263 feet of frontage.
You can't work anything with Grant.
So is
no.
this,
Try.
We have,
Well, we tried
we
with Grant.
tried with one of the property owners, and they were gonna buy it. And they were gonna build 3 homes. And then we got this other guy, and then they were gonna subdivide, we suspicion, with a cousin. You'd have a lot of homes back there.
well, they didn't have the frontage, so,
Yeah, they did.
They will.
You did have.
okay,
Oh, yeah.
but they
That's
take
still-
out the houses.
That's still a possibility.
Sure.
But then this gentleman came and wanted to build 1 home, 1 barn.
That's a nice idea.
And I like that idea, and my mom and dad would have been thrilled.
Well, let's start the process to rewrite some code.
I think that's gonna have to be the route.
I think that would be a benefit to the Daniels area that will allow some of these lots that are back in there. This is me talking, this isn't representing anybody. I think that would be an awesome idea to allow some small driveways into larger parcels to accommodate
One house.
one residence.
The larger parcels being the key word, you know, so a big parcel like this, not just 1 acre here, 1 acre there, but
Right.
this 15
Yeah,
plus.
still has to be 5 acres.
Right, yeah.
It might cost you some time, but it would benefit Daniels.
Well, if you could start on it now, it might be a happening thing come summer.
I don't know.
I would just like to know what that
People
bottom
they
paragraph
work
is
through a
for.
lot of stuff,
Yeah.
years and years in the making.
I don't understand where that came from.
No, because if that's the driveway, then there's not 33 feet.
Right.
Say what?
Well, I'm not an engineer, I don't know, but this bottom paragraph, if that's what I'm just trying to figure out. If that's your private driveway, then there's not 33 feet. There's 18 feet. But I don't know that because I'm confused on what this is, this third paragraph.
There's 32 feet. We
What did-
measured it.
What was the letter from the fire department? Are they okay with,
17 feet
He said we had to have 20 feet.
or 20 feet.
okay. I'm thinking that changed the code.
And
That's what I'm thinking. Because
So nothing.
we'd set a
Nothing
precedence
can
this
fall
way.
under grandfathering.
The code,
Where it's been maintenance.
Where it's, I mean, you've got these warranty deeds, they're back in 1904, and it cannot be grandfathered in.
Unless it had was a buildable lot. Right?
Well, I think that's the problem, is you get to this point and then we want to change the use. It's a field.
Yeah,
It can
it's a
continue to
field.
be a field, it has been a field since 44 that we know of. But
If the code was changed
it's
for
the use for a
a
house, that's,
private only driveway for one house.
So it wouldn't even
It
matter if
might-
it was used for a business.
Well, it's not
No.
zoned for business, so, yeah, it would matter.
And somebody used that for their driveway on their houses, before they had their own driveway, they were using Dad's driveway to go back to their house.
So it was already being used for someone to access their property.
What's this back piece there to the north? This angular barge and then it joins, looks like a house of barge and then some
That's Paul
greenery.
Phelps.
That's Phelps.
He's
To the, no,
sold
to the
it.
north?
Oh,
No,
to the north?
South.
To the north?
No, this is
South.
3,000 in Daniels, yeah, this would be to the
West.
north or west, yeah, okay,
That's Paul Phelps.
okay.
He
so-
sold it though.
Sold.
He sold like 6 years ago.
Yeah. Are you talking about the one that's building a great big home back in there?
Oh, I don't, okay,
where are you looking?
I'm looking this back right
You're
here.
out there.
Oh, that's the Ellis piece, isn't that? Isn't that the Ellis piece behind, straight east?
Let's see, where you're looking.
I'm
I think
looking
he's
at
looking
this,
straight
South,
east,
south?
east.
So where's
so there's
3,000?
3,000
Okay.
there.
West.
There's.
Oh, yeah, that's
If you're
where-
facing south, it'd be on your left.
Yeah.
And
We're
so
talking
they're-
right
Back
here.
when it's
Are
straight
they building a
south.
big house
Yeah,
here?
south.
No,
It'd be
That's
right
Ellis.
here.
Uh-huh.
And see, Paul Phelps, this road wasn't here. He
Okay,
used to use this road and had a gate right here
okay,
when he lived in this.
okay.
And then he sold all this, Paul did. This is Val Ellis right here.
Okay. Is there anything we can do with them?
Well, he doesn't
They
have
want to
frontage.
sub- Yeah, they want to subdivide anyway, so.
There's no frontage back there. That parcel's this big one. Goes all the way down to the creek.
Oh, I know, but that could be advantageous for them to put a secondary road
Could be.
from there, from here,
Could be.
and then access this.
Yeah, we had it worked out, the grant, and we could do it right here.
That would have been swell.
Well, it was. Boy,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I know this,
Could someone, I'm gonna change it a little bit. What kind of precedents would we set allowing a private driveway if we gave a variance there? I mean, what's the precedent that we're worried about? If we grant a variance on their property? I don't
What's the
see that, I
precedent?
guess.
You don't see the precedence?
No, I don't either. I was just wondering why.
If you grant somebody to build on 33 feet, you now have set that precedence. 30 feet, 33
Or
feet.
any lot
Looking
size.
for a variance, everybody will be in for a variance. So if you're gonna do that, you might as well change the code. And let everybody do it, because that's what you're gonna be up against.
Yeah. I think
Absolutely.
we'll change the code.
Okay.
So that's where you're at.
Go back to
But
what
would
it
the
used to be.
precedent be limited to one residence, or would it be open to,
It would be open to anybody that wanted it.
so that's what I'm wondering, why the worry is there,
Yeah.
it would be open
So
to any
we,
size.
we said, here, I'll give you an example. We said 5 acres on a parcel. The
Right.
town is now being sued because we allowed 4.61 on a corner lot after dedication. So 5 acres to start, they dedicated back to the town with 2 frontages. We are now being sued in court because we let somebody build on 4.61. Even though the code says you have to have 5 before dedication, 4.61 after. We're now being sued just for that little bit. And that's what happens. You gotta treat everybody the same. That's how it works.
if the town gets sued,
We all get sued.
everybody's property taxes go up.
Well, it's not that.
That's the whole
It's-
thing.
You just have to be fair with everybody.
And you-
Unfortunately, that's how it is.
So we gotta follow
I
some
mean,
kind of code.
Not unfortunately, that's the way it is because it's awesome. Everybody gets treated the same.
No, not really.
Mary, get that, okay, thanks.
So I'd like to look through these some more, but I'd almost like to kick this back to planning and have them go over these and see if they can work with our surveyor from down to
See what is
see what it is, because I'm really having a tough time following this.
I should have brought Larry with me.
Is he home?
I don't know.
It would be kind of nice to see a good flow.
To see the measurements on all the
Yeah,
parcels, I'd like to see
and
that.
Like maybe,
So I think
Some
the
picture.
packet they gave us in planning had all these same documents in it, minus one, I think we've added one.
Yeah, they sent us like 3 additional, all the ones from like 1933. All the ones dating back. The title searcher provided us with those.
So that we are like 3, but all the past ones, that's going back before. So all the ones we have now is you had in your packet, planning looked at. But I'd really like to get, I mean, we're just running out of time here. Wow.
So do we need to make a motion to kick it back to planning?
Yes,
or-
you need to send it to planning if you're not gonna act on it,
I'd
or
like to,
continue it, either,
I'd
whatever.
like to make a motion to send it back to planning, and so we can get some more clarification on the warranty fees and what the measurements mean.
Okay, I have a motion to send it to planning for clarification.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second, any discussion?
clarification on,
These parcels that we can't make sense of. Planning has more of their fingers to work on that kind of stuff, so.
Do you need a motion to change code, or should you do it here
So that's by application,
by application?
Yeah.
So for them,
code change, yeah, that's by.
So what's the procedure?
For code change? Hold
Yes.
on, we got a motion on the table
Okay.
and a second.
And any discussion on the motion?
Any discussion?
No.
Call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's all of us. Okay, we're gonna send that back to planning then and they're gonna dive into that and we'll see what we come up with. We'll use TO Engineering and see what they can give us on that. We'll incur a little bit of debt on that, but I think it's worth looking into this so we can make sense of it, so we can make an educated decision on this. Okay.
No, common sense decision, not educated.
A lot of people think that runs in the same circle.
So how do they,
Oh, I'm sorry.
how do they apply the
For-
change code?
To change the code?
Yeah. what's-
So on the Daniel website, there's the forms. Click on forms and it has right on there, change code.
Is that amend the general plan?
No, not amend the general plan, it's,
Change,
Zone map change?
that'd be zone change.
it's on the application, this application?
Yes,
Where's it at?
amend the code.
Eric, would that be for, in general, for the town, or just for this one parcel?
That's how you change it in general. They're all treated the same.
And so what would we be changing from to what?
They were looking at changing the frontage requirement. I assume in the RA5 zone.
change the frontage
For a
requirement
single
or
residence.
driveway allowances or some way to
Something like
reword it.
So,
Yeah.
and that would be for the whole town?
Yes.
for a single residence only,
So-
so like
Right,
within
but-
15 acres.
But not just for this one parcel?
Right, it'd be a code
Yes.
change.
So what would we be changing that?
There it is.
The frontage, is that what you said?
Well, I don't know that we'd be, there'd probably be a way we wouldn't have
Not
to
for a
change the frontage, but the
Private
See
driveway.
access.
driveway access or something like that. I don't know.
A single driveway, not,
It is a zone change?
Yep.
It's a zone ordinance.
No, it's not a zone change.
That's what,
really, it's
Zone ordinance
5
change.
acres.
zone ordinance change.
Rather than
Right, the zone
having
change is up
5
above that too, the map.
30 homes.
So we're changing an ordinance within that zone. I assume that's what you're asking.
Huh?
So how would it be determined if we're gonna, as a town, change the ordinance with this? town council have to approve that?
No, we go through the whole, they apply, we go through the public hearings, we take public input, decide if that's something that the public wants to do, if that's what we want to move forward, change the code, then we move on through the rest of the public hearings and change that code.
So
It's the
we
same
have to
thing we
pay
did.
$500 to do that?
What's plus cost?
What happens is plus cost is if we run into other items. So every time we do something, if something comes up where there's additional cost, we need surveyors or we need something else, then that plus cost is added onto that. So it's the same when you do a building permit, the drop-off fee's 500, but if you have 3 inspections, you can't get it in the first 2. 2 are scheduled in, but if you go over that, then the cost just incur on top of that.
All right, Eric, so to change the code then, you're saying that we're gonna be lowering the frontage requirement?
I don't know what they're gonna apply for, they were just asking how to do it, change the code.
Yeah,
So that this parcel would
something
comply.
to address a
So
private
we just,
driveway.
we just did that on the road, remember the road?
Sure.
The Gressmans came in and wanted a lower, hi John? So they wanted a lower standard than a paved road. Before they came in, this all had to be paved. Now up to 3 homes can have crushed asphalt. And so that's what they changed the code to, is to be crushed asphalt.
And so it's up to the applicant to decide what part of the code they want to change. Like, for instance, they could say, well, let's just completely eliminate the frontage requirement then?
Yeah, they could apply to do that. Yep.
What about, and I know this has come up before and it's been kicked around and it's gone away. What about a flag lot idea? Would that be something that this would address?
That's a private driveway.
No, flag lot has a different standard.
But we don't have that in our code, do we?
We don't allow flag lots, we took that out, the county did, but we took that out.
Well, how about if we rewrite that and ask for a flag lot?
You can certainly do that, that's within your rights to do that, to ask for a flag lot. The issue we have here, and I can tell you the problem with flag lots is all of a sudden, somebody's backyard is now somebody's front yard. And so some of these deep lots that you're seeing that has access building in the back, there's a lot of complaints, town's got a lot of complaints. Because everybody knows what's up in the backyard, it's now somebody else's front yard. They don't want to look at it. And that has become an issue. And I think that was the reason they took them out when we first became. So,
But the county still has them then, is that right?
yes, the county still allows
So you
flag
might
lots.
want to look at a private driveway in one house back there. You might have an easier time. Like
So when
you're
you're-
thinking.
When you're sending this back to the planning, does that mean we come and
Yes,
present our case again?
we'll go right back through everything and try and make sense
But
of
we don't
it.
have to do packets again? They go
No,
back to
everybody should
packets.
have their pack, well,
We'll
actually,
add those.
if you have the addition, they should still have their packet. So if you have the additional, whatever you want them to look at,
Well, the other thing that's changed is we've got more of the
warranty deeds.
warranty deeds.
okay. Anything you want them to look at, I would provide.
Okay.
And they'll only, that's what they'll make their decision on is the burden of proof is upon the applicant.
Get them out before the meeting and let us have a chance to look at them beforehand, that's my
Okay.
key to. It's
We can do
beneficial
that.
for time to, Jenny can send them to Mary, she can email them to us and to the rest of the planning
Well, I'm
committee.
dropping by if you want. I know where most of you live.
Yeah.
So I got your application up.
You're on,
I'm
we're
sorry,
at,
Little Sweet.
okay.
Okay, so we sent that back to planning, John. So they're gonna take a look at that. And so we're down to item number 3, adjournment.
Can we ask one more question, Eric?
You bet.
Is Ryan Taylor going to be the one that,
Identifies the legal descriptions?
No, they have a surveyor in the office, so he'll be the one.
Do you contact them or does the trust contact them to do that?
I'm assuming the planning's gonna send that right down to them.
okay.
As an order to do that, to identify?
Right,
the
that's why I
legal-
say the town will incur some costs trying to figure this out, but
Okay.
you're worth it.
Thanks. Okay,
Okay, so we have item number 3 is adjourned.
I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, I have a motion, is there a second?
I second it.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? Okay, call for the vote, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we stand adjourned.
I make a motion that we all have